Hello, Angela Alston of Angela Alston Astrology. Welcome. Today we're going to be talking about what's coming up this week for us. Let me share my screen and get into it. So this week we have, and I will go with, there we go. There we go. All right. We're unlocking the creative potential of August 6th through August 12th, 2023. This week we have the sun still in Leo. We're about halfway through the Leo season, and it's going to be moving from 1352 to about 2016 degrees. These degrees come from the chart that is set for 7 a.m. on Sunday, August 6th, Portland, and ends at August 12th at around 11:30 p.m. The moon is a waning gibbous to the third quarter moon, and it's going through Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and Cancer. So this week we begin with the moon in a cardinal and we end with it in cardinal. And we'll talk a little bit about what the waning gibbous to the third quarter moon, what that really supports right now. We have Mercury in Virgo, where it's very strong, traveling from 10 degrees 58 to 1720. Venus in Leo, still retrograde. We're about a third of the way through Venus's retrograde. Not quite if you take the shadow, which extends it. But anyway, Venus is going backwards from our view on Earth. Venus isn't actually moving backwards, as you well know. 24-31 degrees Leo to 21-35 degrees Leo. Mars in Virgo, traveling 1643 to 2055. Jupiter in Taurus, traveling 1413 to 1446. Jupiter is going to be touching up against the beginning range of the sign that the sun was in during the May 5th, 2023 eclipse in Taurus. And so that's kind of a supercharged point. And then Saturn is still retrograde in Pisces, and it's traveling from 5 degrees 20 to 4 degrees 52 minutes. So that is where the planets are going to be this week. And the themes that I wanted to talk about, largely because of the applying trine, which we'll talk about a little bit more, between Mercury in Virgo applying to Jupiter in Taurus. So these are some of the themes that I kind of am keying into when we have the Virgin and the Bull, particularly when they're working well together, which with the trine they would be. And in fact, Virgo and Taurus, Virgo and Taurus, they're in the same modality. And care and stewardship of the material world matters. The gardening, the taking care of your home, the taking care of your body, of your physical self. Virgo and Taurus are earth signs. They are practical, pragmatic, and very nurturing. And that moves to the second. Helping things to grow is a worthy pursuit. Virgo rules this time of year where we are harvesting Taurus rules the time of year where we're planting. And then finally, the third theme, with the idea that Taurus, ruled by Venus, also speaks to the finer things in life, and that you have to work for the finer things in life. Virgo is a tireless worker, and so can Taurus be. Taurus does enjoy, of course, ruled by Venus, does enjoy to relax. And so this is a nice marriage of working hard, but also working smart, right? And working for the things that you want, for the things that give your life beauty, whether they beautify your home, your garden, whether they beautify yourself. This energy is very supportive of working for what you value in life. And so the moon is waning gibbous to the third quarter. You know, this is the period before the moon enters the new moon, this dark phase. This phase of the moon really invites us all to reflect. It's not a particularly active or extroverted energy. It's a great time for self-care and for nurturing your heart. It's a time to be grateful for what you have, for what you have accomplished over the past moon phase, and all that you embody. It's a time to really take care of yourself and to reap the benefits. If the benefits were not as bountiful as you had hoped, if things didn't perhaps work out in the way that you had anticipated or planned, it's a time to forgive yourself for that and to begin to really let go before we go into the period of the new moon, where we have the opportunity to plant new seeds and new intentions. So this is a time to reflect. It can be a very healing time, but it's best to be quiet, to spend some time with yourself. And then for some aspects in motion this week, we have a wonderful aspect, which is kind of the antidote to the what could have been a fairly harsh aspect last week, which was the Mercury opposite Saturn. Here we have Mercury applying to a trine to Jupiter. And we have Venus applying to a conjunction with the sun. This is a very important time in Venus's synodic cycle. She's moving into her inferior conjunction with the sun, where she will enter the throne. So let's talk about these and some themes. Mercury in Virgo, applying to a trine to Jupiter in Taurus. Now this perfects on August 9th, Wednesday, 5:33 p.m. Portland time, PST. So we're going to be feeling this for the next couple days and then for a couple days afterwards. But aspects are always strongest when they are applying. Now Mercury in Virgo, applying to a trine to Jupiter in Taurus. We have that delicious earth energy working very well together. It's a great time to ask for practical advice, to ask for help, and to ask for support from benefactors and mentors. With that theme of benefactors, it's a very good time for fundraising, particularly for the arts. Jupiter in Taurus has a special affinity, being ruled by Venus, Taurus ruled by Venus, with the arts. So fundraising, and just asking for some money right now for your artistic endeavors. It's a great time for that. Mercury in Virgo is excellent at planning, getting all the details, and Jupiter in Taurus, big picture. And so you're entering into a week where it is a supreme time to be making big plans. Vision, Jupiter meets details. This would be a particularly strong time to be making plans to pursue your goals, your practical and aesthetic and creative goals. And for my writers out there, it's an excellent time to gain some traction on your writing projects. Mercury rules communication, the written word, also the spoken word. So this, as I had mentioned, kind of the antidote to the recent Mercury-Saturn opposition. Oh, my light just went out. There we go. And that's a great segue, actually. Let me move my face so that you can see this beautiful statue here, picture of the statue. Now let's talk about Venus applying to conjunct the sun. Now this perfects at 4:11 a.m. next Sunday, and that's Portland time, PST. Venus, just as a reminder, rules values, taste, social contracts, aesthetics, money, art, beauty. And Venus is going very slowly now. She's not at her most powerful at all, because she is now well under the beams of the sun. She's being fried to a crisp. And in fact, you might see that some of your creative projects might have really slowed down right now. You're not gaining the traction. Venus is meeting the sun, as I mentioned, at the inferior conjunction. The time before she meets the sun, she loses, she sheds, she molts, she gives away a lot of her power, so that with a pure heart and humility, Venus can enter the throne of the sun. And this is called, in astrological terms, Cazimi. The Cazimi point is a very powerful point. It's a time of being reborn, reset, utterly transformed. Venus enters the sun's throne room as the evening star, and she will emerge as the morning star. Dane Rudyard says that the Venus themes in your life are impressed with a new quality of will and purpose. And so, as I had met, Venus will emerge transformed, and then once she moves a certain degree away from the sun, because she'll still be under the influence, the overwhelming influence of the sun for a little while, but once she gains in strength and moves some distance away, Venus at things in your life, and of course relationships certainly fall under Venus. I had forgotten, it's not just art and beauty and values. It can also be what you love, who you love. The morning Venus has a very different temperament than the evening star. It's more impetuous, perhaps more youthful, more ruled by their feelings, feelings first, thoughts and reflection later, perhaps a little bit less calculating. But in general, things and areas and endeavors in your life that are Venusian and that are falling into the houses in your chart that are Venus ruled, and those would be two. What is in your house of Taurus and what is in your house of Libra. Taurus being the feminine manifestation of Venus, and Libra being the masculine. All of those will be refreshed. But before that refreshment happens, there's a kind of a, I don't want to say death, because this is a cycle. This is a, this is Venus synodic cycle. We see it monthly happening with the moon, and every planet has its relationship, a similar kind of dance, with the sun. And so it's a very special week. And we'll talk a little bit more next week when Venus will be emerging as the Lucifer Venus, the morning star. Here's some attributions and links. Thank you so much for joining me this week. And if you would like any sort of astrological assistance, please feel free to contact me at angelaulstranastrology@gmail.com. I truly appreciate you. And then